Chapter 23:13. Half a month later? Just nice, I'll make a trip. The price that the Lan family and the Yin family have to pay will eventually have to be paid. Lu Ming muttered, his voice getting colder and colder. Lu Ming, don't act rashly. The Lan family is definitely not something ordinary factions can compare to. The Lan family is an extremely ancient family with deep foundations and experts as common as clouds. Not only is there only one heavenly emperor in Lan City, it is said that the Lan family also has an old ancestor, who is a peerless 4-star heavenly emperor realm powerhouse. Heavenly Emperor Hung, you said with a somewhat solemn expression. But Lu Ming's eyes were firm, unmoved. In addition, the Lan family has existed for countless years, and is on good terms with many major factions. For example, the Yin family. The Yin family is just an ordinary powerful faction, with a heavenly emperor holding down the fort. They have a marriage alliance with the Lan family. The two families are very close. In addition, there are also many factions similar to the Yin family, who are on good terms with the Lan family. This time, they will all rush over. If you go over rashly, I'm afraid you will suffer a great loss. Therefore, if you want to go, you must be careful. If you really want to go, I'll accompany you. However, the other heavenly emperors of the primordial realm have to guard Two World City. I'm afraid they can't leave. Heavenly Emperor Hung Yu explained the Lan family's power structure and general strength to Lu Ming. However, seeing Lu Ming's firm gaze, he knew that Lu Ming had already made up his mind, so he agreed to accompany Lu Ming. Many thanks, Senior Hung Yu. Lu Ming thanked him and said, If I want to go, I naturally have to be confident. Finished speaking, he walked towards the primordial body cultivator grand elders, and said with cupped fists, Seniors, this junior has something that I would like to ask the seniors for help with. If there's anything that you need us old bones for, just say the word. An old man laughed, very forthright. I would like to invite the seniors to follow me to a place. Lu Ming told them about going to the Lan family. No problem. The grand elders of the Archean body cultivators all agreed. Ever since Lu Ming had displayed his exceptional talent in body cultivation, they had regarded Lu Ming with great importance. Moreover, it was all thanks to Lu Ming that they were able to enter the Two Realm City. Since Lu Ming was in trouble, they naturally had to help. Heavenly Ruler Hung Yu also smiled. He knew very well that these old men were very scary. With their help, their chances of success would be much higher. Lu Ming, let me arrange a place for them to stay first. Celestial Emperor Hung Yu said. Senior Hung Yu, is there a spacious place with no one around? This time, quite a number of body cultivators have come. They are all in our small world. Lu Ming said. Oh, how many people? Celestial Emperor Hung Yu asked. About 30 billion people. Lu Ming said. Oh, only 30 billion? That's easy. Not far from Two Realm City, there's a vast and uninhabited mountain range. It's enough for them to live there. Heavenly Ruler Hung Yu thought for a moment and thought of a place. 30 billion people seemed to be a lot, but it was just a drop in the ocean compared to the vast and boundless territory of the Grand Pure Sky Domain. The population of the Grand Pure Sky Domain was simply uncountable. Any small territory had more than tens of billions of people. Not long after, they set off and arrived at a vast and boundless mountain range. This mountain range spanned millions of miles. It could easily accommodate 30 billion people. Immediately, Lu Ming and the rest had people from small worlds. With a thought, a large number of people appeared in this mountain range. Following that, some primordial body cultivator powerhouses went up to make arrangements. Everyone chopped wood, moved stone, and repaired houses. Most primordial body cultivators were incomparably strong. Doing these things was simply too easy. They believed that in less than a few days, they would be able to completely settle down here. Rinchan and the rest also chose a place and settled down. Their eyes were filled with sadness. Their small world had a large population to begin with, but now, not many of them had come together. Many of them had died in battle, especially some of the top experts. They did not come here. Lu Ming discussed with Heavenly Ruler Hung Yu they all, planning to go to the Lan family after a few more days. It would not be too late. Lu Ming returned to Two World City and met with Mulans. Seeing Lu Ming, Mullins was naturally overjoyed. The two people caught up for a while. Lu Ming returned to his residence, planning on having a good rest. I wonder if I can contact the Chaos Hall now? Lu Ming thought of the Chaos Hall again. Thinking up to here, Lu Ming took out the Chaos Essence token. He did not expect that the moment he tried this time, the Chaos Essence token actually had activity. Lu Ming was overjoyed and poured world power into it. Buzz! The Chaos Essence token started vibrating. Then a light pillar appeared, enveloping Lu Ming inside. Following that, Lu Ming's figure disappeared from where he was. Lu Ming seemed to be traveling through the void. That feeling was like taking a super long-distance teleportation formation. Not long after, Lu Ming came to a large hall. It was the Chaos Hall. The moment Lu Ming appeared, light flashed in the Chaos Hall. There were a total of 9 figures, emitting different colors from their bodies. 2E Goldie, Lu Ming's eyes lit up. Greetings, young master. 2E Goldie. And the rest bowed to Lu Ming. Seniors, there's no need to be so polite. Lu Ming hurriedly waved his hand. Young master has already defeated the son of primal chaos, Yuan Xian. Moreover, you have broken through to the Emperor realm, using many different types of laws, and have even mastered many different types of supreme laws. Such talent is unprecedented. From now on, you will be the master of Primal Chaos Palace, and also our young master. 2E said with a serious face. You have heard of me? Lu Ming asked curiously. Of course, the Chaos Hall is in the Taiching Celestial Domain. Young master's name has spread throughout the Taiching Celestial Domain. Of course we have heard of you. 2E said with a smile. The Chaos Hall is in the Taiching Celestial Domain? Then why couldn't I contact you before? Lu Ming asked curiously. It was not difficult to guess that the Chaos Hall was in the Taiching Celestial Domain. Back then, he could directly enter the Chaos Hall from Yuan Lu. It was not difficult to guess that the Chaos Hall was in the Taiching Celestial Domain. That was because the Taiching Celestial Domain was connected to Yuan Lu. The Hunyuan sect was probably in the Taiching Celestial Domain too. Lu Ming was curious why he could not contact 2E and the rest before, but now he could. Young master, there are 2 battlefields in the Taiching Celestial Domain. The Chaos Hall is near one of the battlefields. More than 10 years ago, the foreign tribes suddenly invaded and a fierce battle broke out in that battlefield. We brought the Chaos Hall to join the battle and cut off the outside world. That's why you could not contact us. 2E explained. The other 8 nodded their heads in agreement. Lu Ming was enlightened. So that was the reason. Recently, the foreign tribes did not invade. Therefore, Lu Ming could contact 2E and the rest again. Seniors, I would like to ask about the Chaos Scripture, Lu Ming asked. The Chaos Scripture in his hand seemed to be incomplete. Young master, the Chaos Scripture in your hand is indeed incomplete. It only has the part before you became a martial emperor. The part after you became a martial emperor was supposed to be given to you after you became a martial emperor. Now that you have become a martial emperor and reached the true martial emperor level, it is natural that you have it. Young master, please follow me. Chapter 23:14. In the secret chamber, there was a figure sitting cross-legged in the air. It was the figure of the Chaos Emperor. As soon as Lu Ming entered, the figure turned into a ray of light and rushed into Lu Ming's glabella. Suddenly, a piece of information appeared in Lu Ming's mind. Chaos Scripture. Lu Ming whispered. This piece of information was the latter part of the Chaos Scripture. It recorded the deduction laws of the Chaos Scripture, a series of divine abilities, and the combination of various laws. Among them, the law of chaos was the main one. Lu Ming sat cross-legged and carefully comprehended it. The Chaos Scripture contains 18 types of laws, similar to the indestructible ancient scripture. Unfortunately, it's only based on one type of law of chaos, so it's not suitable for me. However, there are many things in it that I can learn from. Lu Ming pondered. The Chaos Scripture contained 18 types of laws. Among these 18 types of laws, Lu Ming only had 4 of them. In the future, if Lu Ming wanted to master more laws, he could use the Chaos Scripture to deduce other laws. That way, it would be faster than comprehending them alone. In addition, Lu Ming could also try to cultivate some of the divine abilities to increase Lu Ming's means of fighting against enemies. Of course, Lu Ming's main cultivation direction still depended on himself to comprehend and explore. After all, he had mastered many types of supreme laws. If he wanted to unleash the strongest power of these laws, he had to rely on himself to explore. After all, since ancient times, no one had mastered many types of supreme laws at the same time. A day later, Lu Ming stopped comprehending. He was not in a hurry now. When he had time in the future, he would choose a few divine abilities to cultivate. Lu Ming returned to the main hall. 2E and the other 8 were waiting there. 2E, what are your cultivation bases? Lu Ming asked curiously. The 9 of us belong to 9 different elements and are all in the Heavenly Emperor realm. 2E replied. Heavenly Emperor? Lu Ming began to nod subconsciously, but he immediately reacted and his mouth opened wide. He was dumbfounded. Earth 1 Gold 1 Wood 1. There was a total of 9 people, and all of them were puppets. In the past, Lu Ming thought that 2E and the rest might be at the Heavenly Emperor realm, or even peak Heavenly Emperors. However, he did not expect them to be at the Heavenly Emperor realm. 9 Heavenly Emperors, what kind of terrifying power was this? The Primal Chaos Palace was only one of the 9 great palaces of the Primal Chaos sect. Even if the Primal Chaos Emperor's strength was exceedingly high, the fact that there were 9 Heavenly Emperor realm puppets under him was enough to shock people. From this, it could be seen how amazing the strength of the Hunyuan sect was at its peak. Good, very good. Lu Ming was delighted. With the help of 2E and the others, he was like a tiger that had grown wings. Primal Chaos Palace, is there anyone else other than you? Lu Ming asked again. Yes, but they are all puppets. There are 1,000 of our 9 elements. Their names are from 1 to 1,000, from the Martial Emperor realm to the Heavenly Emperor realm. Yi Dao. Lu Ming nodded. Previously, 2E had sent Tu Qian to follow him to the Divine Wilderness Continent. Until now, Tu Qian was still guarding the Divine Wilderness Continent. Seniors, I'll go back first. I have something that I need your help with. In a few days, I'll be going to the Lan family in the central region of the Taiching Sky Domain. Lu Ming told them about the Lan family and asked 2E and the others to help him. 2E and the others naturally agreed. Lu Ming was overjoyed. With 2E and the others' help this time, he would definitely make the Lan family pay the price. Then a force enveloped him. Not long after, Lu Ming returned to his original place. It seems like there's a formation similar to a teleportation formation on the Primal Chaos token. As long as it's activated, the teleportation formation on it will be activated. Lu Ming thought. In the next few days, Lu Ming did not cultivate and had a good rest. A few days later, Lu Ming, Heavenly Dharch Hengyu, and the 4 supreme elders of the primordial physique cultivators headed to the central region of the Taiching Sky Domain with Lu Ming. The Taiching Sky Domain was vast and boundless. It was not smaller than the entire Yuan continent and was roughly divided into 5 regions: east, south, west, north, and central. The Lan family was in the central region. Heavenly Dharch Hengyu led Lu Ming. With the speed of a Heavenly Dharch, they arrived at Blue Moon City, where the Lan family was located in a few hours. Blue Moon City was an ancient giant city that completely belonged to the Lan family. This was the headquarters of the Lan family. The Lan family had been here for countless years. During this period, Blue Moon City was unusually lively. It was simply a sea of people. The marriage of the Lan family's genius daughter to the second-ranked genius of the 9 absolutes was a big event. Moreover, it was said that the Lan family had invited a large number of geniuses. Many people guessed that there would be a grand event, and naturally came to watch the fun. Heavenly Dharch Hengyu and the others concealed their auras and walked into Blue Moon City like a few ordinary people. They found an inn and inquired about the news. This time there are so many geniuses here. Most of the famous geniuses from the Heaven Domain and the Yuan realm are here. The Lan family actually has such great influence to be able to invite so many geniuses here. Someone raised a question. What do you know? There hasn't been a grand event in the Heaven Domain for a long time. Ever since the selection of the 9 absolutes more than 10 years ago, some of the top geniuses haven't clashed with each other. This time, they can take advantage of this opportunity to compete with each other. Moreover, I heard that the Lan family has paid a huge price this time. If anyone can get first place this time, the Lan family will take out 100 Chaos Stones as a reward. What? 100 Chaos Stones? What a huge sum. Many people were shocked. The Lan family actually wanted to take out 100 Chaos Stones as a reward for the first place. This was definitely a huge sum. Back then, outside Two World City, Lu Ming had taken down the other party's prince in exchange for 100 Chaos Stones. The Lan family has really put in a lot of effort. Could it be that the Lan family wants to push Xianyuan Yi to the throne of first place? That's right. Xianyuan Yi is ambitious and has long wanted to challenge Lin Xiaofeng and take the throne of first place. This time, Xianyuan Yi most likely wants to take advantage of this opportunity to defeat Lin Xiaofeng. This way, the 100 Chaos Stones won't be wasted, and Xianyuan Yi's reputation will be pushed to the peak. The Lan family has a good plan, but aren't they afraid that Xianyuan Yi won't be able to defeat Lin Xiaofeng and will be defeated by him? If that's the case, they'll suffer a double loss. Therefore, this time, there will most likely be a showdown between the top geniuses. That's why so many people have rushed over and attracted a large number of geniuses here. In the restaurant, many people were drinking and chatting loudly. Lu Ming and the others had received a lot of news. 100 Chaos Stones, we can't miss it. There was a glint in Lu Ming's eyes and he revealed a smile. It seemed that there would be additional rewards this time. Seniors, it seems that we don't have to rush to their door. Let's get the 100 Chaos Stones first. Lu Ming said with a smile. They drank for a while, then left the place, and found a restaurant to stay. Time passed day by day. Soon, it was the day of Lan Xia and Xianyuan Yi's wedding. Chapter 23:15. With Lu Ming's current cultivation, when he used the divine breath technique, great emperors couldn't see through him at all. Even heavenly emperors could only see through Lu Ming's disguise, but they couldn't see through Lu Ming's true appearance. Lu Ming didn't plan to reveal his true body from the start. If Lu Ming revealed his true body from the start, the Lan family definitely wouldn't let him get the 100 Chaos Stones. He would change his identity first and get the Chaos Stones first. Heavenly Emperor Heng Yu went first, followed by him, and a few body cultivator grand elders. Not long after, Lu Ming and the others came to a square. This square was hundreds of miles long and wide, but at this time, the square was already filled with banquets. Many people were sitting casually at the banquets. Look, that's the prodigy area. There were people chatting on the side. Lu Ming looked over and found that there was an area north of the square where many young prodigies were sitting. Long Chun, Huang Ling, Desolate Force and Bubbles. Lu Ming looked around and saw many familiar faces. Lu Ming was overjoyed. Other than Bubbles, he hadn't seen anyone else for many years. However, now wasn't the time to reminisce. It wouldn't be too late to reminisce after this matter. At the same time, Lu Ming also saw others. For example, Heng Xinghe, Yuan Xin, Bao de Xieku Tianming. Most of the top prodigies of the primordial realm were here. The others were all prodigies from the heaven realm. For example, those prodigies who followed Heavenly Emperor Kong Yin to the primordial realm during the Battle of the 10 Earths were also among them. At this time, Lu Ming realized that there were countless banquets in this square, and they were also divided into many different areas. The area where they were sitting was just an ordinary area. Lu Ming didn't care and waited quietly. Look, it's Xian Wu Lin of the 9 Absolutes. And Fu Lu Wangyi, suddenly someone exclaimed. Lu Ming looked towards the sky. A few figures walked over in the air, full of arrogance. They looked down from above and glanced at the crowd, then landed in the area of the young prodigies. Among them, Lu Ming had seen a few before. Xian Wu Lin, the bald youth Fu Lu. They were all prodigies of the 9 Absolutes. Their talents were amazing, and their future achievements were unimaginable. It's Lin Xiaofeng. Lin Xiaofeng is really here. Immediately after, there was an even louder uproar. The whole place was in an uproar. Almost everyone's eyes were looking at a young man in the sky. Lin Xiaofeng was ranked first among the 9 absolutes. In the past, he was the strongest genius in the heaven realm. He stood at the peak of countless geniuses, and was invincible. He was also the opponent's. Lin Xiaofeng, dressed in black and carrying a long saber on his back, landed in the area of the younger generation with a cold expression. Lin's brother. Many prodigies is this. Lin's is this. T-test battle determine. T.S. More than a decade ago, the two had clashed and launched a peak battle. In the end, Lin's defeated Xianyuan Yi. Xianyuan Yi had always wanted to defeat Lin's to prove that he was the best in the world. This time, the Lan family had mobilized so many people and really took out 100 chaos stones to push Xianyuan Yi to the top. They were very confident. Therefore, many people wanted to know who would emerge victorious in this confrontation. The Yin family's celestial emperor has arrived. The Luo family's celestial emperor has arrived. The Boundless Palace's palace master has arrived. At this moment, voices spread throughout the place. Everyone quieted down. The celestial emperors. In the sky, one figure after another came. In the east, the Yin family's celestial emperor led the Yin family's experts here. In the west, the Luo family's celestial emperor led the Luo family's experts here. These celestial emperors, and the experts who followed them descended in the northernmost area. That was the VIP area. Only those with noble status could sit there. These forces were all on good terms with the Lan family. For example, the Yin family and the Luo family were all related to the Lan family by marriage. After that, powerful forces continued to descend. Some forces even had celestial emperors descend. During this period of time, the foreign races retreated and did not attack. That was why these celestial emperors had time to come here. Ha ha ha. Thank you for coming. I'm sorry for not coming out to meet you. At this moment a loud laugh was heard. Then, a group of people flew over from the depths of Blue Moon City. The person in the lead was the Lan family's head, the celestial emperor powerhouse, Lan Cheng. Behind Lan Cheng followed a large number of Lan family powerhouses. Among them, Blue Cloud was among them. And beside Lan Cheng, a young man and woman followed, attracting the attention of many people. Because these two people were today's protagonists, 2 of the 9 absolutes, Lan Xia and Xianyuan Yi. Brother Lan, congratulations. Congratulations to the Lan family for getting a son-in-law. The Yin family's celestial emperor, and the others got up to congratulate, their faces full of smiles. Thank you. Everyone please take a seat. Lan Cheng waved his hand. Today my Lan family's prodigy Lan Xia is getting married to Xianyuan Yi. You don't have to be polite. Eat and drink to your heart's content. Lan Cheng said with a smile. Immediately, countless people flew out and placed wine and dishes on all the tables. Then it was time for the wedding ceremony. Everyone waited patiently. They all knew that after the ceremony, it would be the main event. Soon the ceremony was over. Lan Cheng got up, faced everyone, and said, "This time, thank you for coming, especially the prodigies of the younger generation. Most of them are here. Why don't we take this opportunity to exchange pointers with everyone? And let us old guys also see the glory of the younger generation. How about it? That's great. Since the battle more than 10 years ago, many prodigies have rarely fought, and have been cultivating hard. Today is a good time to see the results of their cultivation. Now is the golden age. Prodigies have gathered, and now with the addition of the prodigies from the Yuan realm, the real stars are shining brightly." Many people nodded, revealing a look of anticipation. Those young prodigies also sized each other up, and a faint fighting spirit spread out. For example, Xianyuan Yi's gaze fell on Lin Xiaofeng, and the powerful fighting spirit was not concealed. In his eyes, only one Lin Xiaofeng was worthy of him fighting. This time, the Lan family will also offer some prizes. As a reward, the Lan family will offer 100 chaos stones as a reward to the person who comes in first place. No matter who wins first place, my Lan family will never go back on our words. Lan Cheng continued, and his voice spread throughout the entire venue. Lin Xiaofeng's eyes were filled with a bright light. This time, He was here for 100 chaos stones. Who wouldn't be tempted by 100 chaos stones? However, the other prodigies sighed. They understood that they were destined to not be able to get the 100 chaos stones. With Lin Xiaofeng and Xian Yuani around, it was impossible for them to get first place. Chapter 23:16. Everyone looked around with different thoughts in their minds. Senior, what are the rules of this competition? Someone asked. There are no rules. If any of you want to fight, you can come up here and challenge whoever you want to spar with. There are no rules. You are free to fight. Lan Cheng explained with a smile. He then waved his hand, and a huge battle stage appeared in the middle of the square. There were no banquets in the middle of the square. It was obvious that it was for sparring. Now who will go up first? Lan Cheng asked again. Then let me throw a brick to attract the jade first. A voice sounded. Then, a young man in a white shirt rushed up to the battle stage. The young man looked at the younger generation area and said, Fong Han, come up and fight. I'm not afraid of you. The person who was challenged shouted, and rushed up to the battle stage. Without saying anything, the two of them fought fiercely. The two of them were just ordinary sky prides. They were not top sky prides, because they had not mastered the strongest laws. The laws that they had mastered were kingly laws. Both of them were in the empty emperor realm. They exchanged blows, and the battle was extremely intense. The two of them exchanged more than 100 blows. In the end, the young man in a white shirt who went up to the battle stage was more skilled and won. Next, the battles continued. However, those who fought at the beginning were all ordinary sky prides. The sky prides who had mastered the strongest laws did not fight. Not long after, Lu Ming saw Long Chun, Huang Li, Huang Ling and the rest challenging others. Long Chun, Huang Ling and the rest had not comprehended the strongest laws. They had only comprehended the kingly laws. After so many years, their strength had improved greatly. They had mastered 3 to 4 kingly laws, and their cultivation had reached the level of a 4-star empty emperor. If one was not an innate firmament child, it would not be easy for one to comprehend a strongest law after advancing to martial emperor. The difficulty was extremely high. However, as long as Long Chun, Huang Ling and the rest had not become great emperors, they would have the chance to comprehend the strongest laws. Around the square, many big shots were drinking and chatting as they watched with interest. In the blink of an eye, 3 days had passed. After 3 days, almost all the ordinary sky prides had fought. Finally, the sky prides who had mastered the strongest laws went up to fight. Many people immediately perked up and watched carefully. The battle between the top geniuses was undoubtedly more exciting. At the same level of cultivation, the combat power of the top geniuses was stronger than that of the ordinary geniuses. Lu Ming saw Blue Cloud, Yanxi and Stellar River make their moves. Their talents were definitely top-notch, and they all defeated their opponents one by one. This was especially true for Heng Xinghe. He had challenged several people consecutively, and won every single one of them. However, Lu Ming did not make a move. His goal was 100 chaos gems. It was useless to make a move now. All he had to do was wait until the end. Boom. Suddenly, a tall and sturdy figure rushed onto the fighting ring. His entire body was pitch black like an iron tower. Baoda. Lu Ming's eyes flickered. After so many years, Baoda had become many times stronger. The muscles all over his body were bulging, filled with explosive power. Physique cultivator. I didn't expect there to be a physique cultivator prodigy outside. Beside Lu Ming, several Archean body cultivators were immediately intrigued. They stared curiously at Baoda, sizing him up. Baoda was like a barbaric dragon. Finally, his gaze swept towards a gray-robed youth. You come up and fight. Baoda's voice reverberated throughout the entire arena. The gray-robed youth was the one who had followed Heavenly Emperor Kong Yin to the primordial realm. Moreover, he also cultivated the Archean cultivation system. Back then, the gray-robed youth had challenged Baoda, Xiaku, and the ancient devil alone. He had easily defeated them. Baoda had always been brooding over this. Now that he had cultivated for so many years and his strength had increased greatly, he naturally wanted to challenge the other party and get back at them. Whoosh! The gray-robed youth rushed onto the fighting ring. This time, I will defeat you alone. Baoda's eyes were filled with ferocity. He was like a giant beast, and his aura was extremely terrifying. Make your move. The gray-robed youth spoke as a powerful aura erupted from his body. Boom. The two of them moved at the same time and collided fiercely. An earth-shattering explosion erupted on the fighting ring. Then, the two figures could not help but retreat continuously. The first move was a draw. Again. The two of them bombarded each other again. Many people were watching excitedly from all directions. Even some great emperors and heavenly emperors were watching seriously. This was because the two of them cultivated the Archean cultivation system. Baoda, an Archean physique cultivator. The gray-robed youth, an Archean martial artist. The two of them fought each other head-on. In the blink of an eye, they had exchanged dozens of blows. Over the years, Baoda was much stronger than before. He could actually fight with the gray-robed youth. It was difficult to determine the victor in a short period of time. One had to know that the gray-robed youth could easily defeat them in the past. This reminded Lu Ming of Heavenly Emperor Kong Yin's words. Some of the top geniuses in the Yuan realm were not weaker than the geniuses in the heavenly realm. However, due to limited resources, their cultivation was weaker, and their combat strength was far inferior to the geniuses in the heavenly realm. But now, the geniuses in the Yuan realm had received the resources of the heavenly realm. In terms of cultivation, they had quickly caught up. Now they could truly fight with the geniuses in the heavenly realm. This black kid is not bad. Next to Lu Ming, an Archean physique cultivator elder spoke, revealing a look of interest. He is indeed not bad. The physique cultivation technique he cultivates is not very advanced, but he has such achievements. He is indeed a peerless genius in physique cultivation. If he is properly trained, his achievements will be limitless. Another old man also spoke. Obviously, these elders had a strong interest in Baoda. Roar. In the battle ring, Baoda roared. Like a mad beast, his attacks were wild. In the end, he even ignored his own defense and attacked crazily, adopting a method of fighting that would cause both sides to suffer. This made the gray-robed youth's expression solemn. In the end, after exchanging a few blows with Baoda, he floated back and left the battle ring. I'm not fighting anymore. I admit defeat. The gray-robed youth said, then returned to his seat. Ha ha. Baoda grinned and laughed wildly. Finally, his gaze swept over some of the other youths. He still wanted to fight. Baoda, that's enough. Now it's my turn. A voice rang out. Then, a figure rushed into the battle ring. It was Sieke. Baoda chuckled and left the battle ring. Then, Sieke challenged a genius from the heavenly realm, and he defeated his opponent. What are these people from the Yuan realm trying to do? Do they all want to challenge the geniuses from the heavenly realm? In the young genius area, a youth said coldly. The expressions of many geniuses from the heavenly realm changed slightly. Their eyes swept over the geniuses from the Yuan realm, such as Tian Ming, Yuan Xian, Bubbles, and the others. However, Tian Ming and Yuan Xian did not speak. Their eyes were fixed on the battle ring. Chapter 23:17. Next, the elder demon attacked and defeated another opponent. This made some of the geniuses from the heaven world look grim. Whoosh! Another figure rushed onto the fighting ring. Yuan Xian. Many people's eyes flickered, especially those who knew the inside story. In the primordial realm, Yuan Xian was the top genius, ranked third. Over the years, as the geniuses of the primordial realm continued to grow, their influence in the heaven world grew. Lu Ming had become an emperor with many different laws, which was unprecedented in history, shocking the heaven world. As for Tian Ming, Bubbles, and the others, their strength increased rapidly, and their reputation among the younger generation of the heaven world grew. Naturally, more people went to the top of the primordial realm, and the results of the Battle of 10 Earths were exposed, and many people knew about it. Yuan Xian was ranked third in the primordial realm back then, behind Lu Ming and Tian Ming. His talent was absolutely amazing, and even in the heaven world, he was the top. Some people even thought that he might be able to stand shoulder to shoulder with Jiu in the future. Now who was he going to challenge? Yuan Xian's gaze fell on Tianming. Tianming, come out and fight. Yuan Xian's voice sounded. Many people's eyes flickered, surprised. Many people thought that Yuan Xian would also challenge the geniuses of the heaven world. But he actually challenged Tianming. Back then, Yuan Xian was defeated by Tianming in the Battle of 10 Earths. He must want to challenge and defeat him. Indeed, many people nodded. Tianming, dressed in white, was handsome and elegant, and attracted the attention of many young women. He stood up, took a step, and landed on the platform. Yuan Xian, you were no match for me back then. And now, you are even less of a match for me. Tianming faintly said, full of confidence in himself. Don't be so full of yourself. Today, I will defeat you and prove that I am stronger than you. It's a pity that Lu Ming is dead. Otherwise, I would also defeat him, and prove to everyone who is the top genius of the primordial realm. Yuan Xian said, his eyes flashing with a strong desire to fight. His ambition was higher than the sky, but he could only get 3rd place in the Battle of 10 Earths. He was not satisfied, and wanted to regain the throne of the primordial realm. Make your move, Tianming said lightly, his expression calm and indifferent, as if he did not take Yuan Xian's words to heart. Boom! Yuan Xian released a powerful aura. It was much stronger than when he fought Lu Ming in the Alcate ancient city. There were 4 different types of laws on his body that rushed toward Tianming. The 4 different types of laws, led by the law of primal chaos, formed a terrifying mystique. Boom! Yuan Xian punched out, and numerous chaos mountains came crashing down on Tianming. Dazzling white light emanated from Tianming's body. He pointed a finger, and a beam of light shot toward the mountains. Boom! 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 Tianming's mountain crumbled, and exploded one after another. Defeat! Then, Tianming took a step forward and pressed down with his finger. Boom! A terrifying pressure pressed down on Yuan Xian. At the same time, a dazzling radiance spread towards Yuan Xian like a stormy sea. This was also a terrifying divine ability. It was based on the laws of destiny, and when combined with other laws, it was shockingly powerful. Yuan Xian let out a roar as he unleashed his strength to the limit and attacked crazily. However, his attacks crumbled and disintegrated under the radiance of Tianming's finger. Finally, the radiance hit Yuan Xian. Yuan Xian's body shook violently as he spat out large mouthfuls of blood and was sent flying out of the arena. The scene suddenly fell silent. Many people looked at Tianming in shock, especially the geniuses from the Yuan realm. They were the most surprised. Tianming's strength was too terrifying. He had defeated Yuan Xian in just a few moves. Back in the Yuan realm's Battle of the 10 Lands, Tianming had to use many moves to defeat Yuan Xian. He even had to use his ultimate move to defeat him. But now, he had defeated Yuan Xian so easily. Clearly, Tianming's progress over the years had far surpassed Yuan Xian's. No, this is impossible. Standing in the air, Yuan Xian's face was blank. He could not accept all this. This time, he had wanted to defeat Tianming and prove to everyone that he was the number 1 in the primordial realm. However, in the end, he had suffered a crushing defeat. Furthermore, it had only been a few moves, and it had been an extremely miserable defeat. The difference in strength between him and Tianming was too great. Yuan Xian, you're too weak, Tianming said lightly. His words made Yuan Xian spit out another mouthful of blood as his body swayed. Then, Tianming no longer looked at him, and swept his gaze over the other young geniuses. When Tianming's gaze swept over them, except for Jiuju, the other young geniuses' expressions changed. From the way he attacked just now, Tianming's strength was simply unfathomable. No one knew what level he had reached. Who was he going to challenge next? Finally, Tianming's gaze fell on one of the young geniuses. Yebing. He had always been known as the strongest Void Emperor among the younger generation of the Celestial Realm. Of course, ever since Lu Ming's rise, he was no longer the strongest Void Emperor. Back then, when Lu Ming became an emperor, he defeated him with one move. Was Tianming going to challenge Yebing? Yebing, come out and fight. As expected, Tianming's voice rang out. You overestimate yourself. Yebing said coldly as he stepped out and appeared on the arena. A ray of sharpness flashed in his eyes with a trace of ferocity. Back then, he had suffered a crushing defeat at the hands of Lu Ming, and his reputation had been greatly reduced. Therefore, he didn't have a good impression of geniuses from the Yuan realm like Lu Ming. Now, Tianming wanted to challenge him again. He would teach him an unforgettable lesson. Bang! Tianming took a step forward, and his body erupted with an astonishing light that was incomparably dazzling. Then he pointed a finger, and a dazzling light suppressed Yebing. Divine weapon seal art. Yebing shouted as his hands quickly formed seals. A huge pagoda condensed and suppressed Tianming. Boom! The huge pagoda and the light from Tianming's finger collided, and a shocking explosion erupted. Then, the huge pagoda condensed by Yebing shook violently, and it was covered with cracks. Yebing's expression changed as his hands quickly formed seals. A vase appeared, and a large amount of sword chi spewed out of the vase. Then, a war blade appeared and slashed at Tianming. River of Destiny. At this time, Tianming used his ultimate move, the River of Destiny. He stood in the River of Destiny, as if he was immortal and controlled destiny. Tianming's move was much, much stronger than it had been in the past. Back then, it was only a type of destiny law, but now, other laws were added, and its power was astonishing. Boom! 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 Tianming and Yebing were engaged in an intense battle. Chapter 23:18. In the blink of an eye, Tianming and Yebing had exchanged dozens of blows. At this time, Tianming actually began to gain the upper hand. Tianming's battle strength is terrifying. He can actually suppress Yebing. Many people were shocked. One had to know that Yebing was the strongest Void Emperor among the younger generation of the celestial world. Although he was defeated by Lu Ming, it was only because Lu Ming was too abnormal, not because Yebing was weak. But now, Tianming could actually suppress Yebing. Tianming is worthy of being the second-ranked genius of the primordial realm. His talent is terrifying. Yes, if the primordial realm didn't have an even more abnormal Lu Ming, he would be invincible. Every one of the destiny laws is abnormal. Once they grow up, their achievements will be limitless. Discussions broke out in the surroundings. Many people sighed. Tianming's talent was terrifying. In the future, he would definitely be able to stand shoulder to shoulder with the 9 absolutes, or even surpass some of them. But then, everyone thought of Lu Ming. Although Tianming was strong, he was still suppressed by Lu Ming. Everyone sighed. It wasn't that Tianming wasn't strong, but that Lu Ming was too abnormal, and couldn't be understood with common sense. Yebing roared. He was not reconciled to being suppressed by Tianming. He wanted to erupt with all his strength and attack crazily, wanting to turn the tables. He condensed all kinds of weapons and attacked Tianming. Unfortunately, these weapons exploded and crumbled under Tianming's attacks. Tianming became stronger and stronger as the battle went on, and his advantage continued to increase. He completely suppressed Yebing. Bang! In the end, Yebing was sent flying, vomiting blood as he was blasted out of the battle stage. Yebing was defeated. The genius who was known as the strongest in the Void Emperor realm was defeated once again. What strength! The primordial realm really has a few geniuses. Apart from Lu Ming, Tianming should be the strongest in the Void Emperor realm. Yes, he's invincible among the Void Emperors. Many people discussed. Tianming's reputation had risen to the peak. Some of the 9 absolutes looked at Tianming with solemn eyes. Tianming would definitely be a great threat to them when he became a true emperor. However, Xiangyuan Yi and Lin Xiaofeng's eyes were calm, exuding strong confidence. Tianming didn't continue. He left the stage and returned to his seat. Now, it's time for the battle between the 9 aces. Many people thought to themselves and became more and more expectant. But at this moment, a petite figure appeared on the stage in a flash. That's a spacetime spirit mouse. Many people's eyes flickered. Bubble. Lu Ming's lips curled into a smile. Bubbles was about to make a move. Lu Ming hadn't seen Bubbles fight for many years. He wanted to see how strong Bubbles was. The talents of the top 10 warbeasts were absolutely astonishing. Now that they had received guidance from the Almighty of the Heaven Realm, their improvement would definitely be astonishing. Bubbles' gaze swept across the crowd and finally landed on Xinghe and Yuan Xian. The two of you come up here. I'll let you work together. Chirp chirp. Bubbles pouted, her crisp voice resounding throughout the entire arena. This guy really wants to challenge Stellar River and Yuan Xian. Lu Ming smiled. Both Stellar River and Yuan Xian had a grudge against Lu Ming and had always targeted Lu Ming. Bubbles naturally remembered that. Stellar River and Yuan Xian's faces turned ugly. Humph, a loser from back then. I alone am enough to deal with you. Why do I need two people? Yuan Xian said coldly and rushed onto the stage. You can't do it. I'll defeat you in one move. Yuan Xian curled her lips and revealed a look of disdain. Ha ha ha, defeat me in one move? What a joke. Yuan Xian laughed crazily. Bubbles actually said that she would defeat him in one move. Even Tianming couldn't do it. Who did she think she was? What a joke. You go first. I'll let you go first. Otherwise you won't have a chance. Chirp chirp. Bubbles said as if she didn't care about Yuan Xian at all. Yuan Xian was furious. Then I'll fulfill your wish. Yuan Xian shouted and rushed towards Bubbles. At the same time, he unleashed his strongest combat power. Facing the space-time spirit mouse, Yuan Xian didn't dare to be careless. He attacked with his strongest combat power. He was surrounded by all kinds of laws and charged towards Bubbles. However, when he was halfway there, his body stiffened in midair. The various laws that covered his body suddenly disappeared without a trace. Yuan Xian's face changed drastically. He roared and manipulated the laws again. However, the laws disappeared as soon as they appeared. Time laws, it's the time laws. Using the time laws to control the power of time and travel back to the moment when the opponent didn't manipulate the laws. Therefore, when Yuan Xian's laws appeared, they disappeared. How terrifying. Many people saw the trick and were shocked. This was already manipulating the power of time. Void Emperor was only able to do this, as expected of the space-time spirit mouse. At this moment, Bubbles appeared in front of Yuan Xian and kicked Yuan Xian's face. Yuan Xian's body was like a broken sandbag. He flew out of the stage and fell heavily on the ground. He vomited blood, and his face was completely swollen. Defeated, Yuan Xian was defeated. Bubbles really only used one move. Many people were shocked. Bubbles' combat power was beyond their imagination. Tianming's eyes narrowed slightly. He looked at Bubbles with a grave expression. How useless! Bubbles muttered and stopped looking at Yuan Xian. This made Yuan Xian vomit another mouthful of blood. It was from anger. Yuan Xian had suffered a huge blow today. He originally wanted to defeat Tianming and avenge the humiliation back then. However, he was easily defeated by Tianming in the end. That was fine, but now, he was defeated by Bubbles in one move. Bubbles was his defeated opponent back then. But now, she defeated him in one move. He couldn't accept it. Bubble ignored him and swept his gaze over the remaining youths. Those who were swept by his gaze all had a change in expression. Will she challenge Tianming? Many people thought so. However, in the end, Bubbles didn't challenge Tianming. Her gaze fell on Oyebing. You come out and fight. Bubbles pointed at Oyebing. Oyebing's face was gloomy. Bubbles actually challenged him? However, today in the face of a challenge, he had to fight. He couldn't back down. Otherwise, his reputation would be completely ruined. He stepped out and landed on the stage. Although your space-time law is mysterious, it depends on who your opponent is. If your opponent's strength surpasses yours, your space-time law won't work. I'm not Yuan Xian. I'll use my powerful strength to break your space-time law. Oyebing said. Many people's hearts moved. That was indeed the case. The space-time law was incomparably mysterious and unpredictable. It could mobilize the power of time and space. It was terrifying. However, no law was truly invincible. When one's strength reached a certain level, it could break all laws. Chapter 23:19. You talk too much. If you're not going to attack, I'll attack. Bubble muttered. then suddenly rushed towards her opponent. Her speed was extremely fast, as if she was traveling through the void. Ouyebing didn't dare to be careless. He used the divine weapon seal technique, and surrounded his body with all kinds of weapons. The weapons vibrated, shattering the void and stopping Bubble's attack. Ouyebing's strength was indeed much stronger than Yuan Xian's. His combat strength was astonishing, and could already affect Bubble's space-time laws. Therefore, Bubble naturally couldn't defeat Ouyebing as easily as she defeated Yuan Xian. However, after the two exchanged blows, Bubble still had the upper hand. Bubble's figure flickered, and no matter how Ouyebing attacked, he couldn't hit Bubble. In fact, under the influence of Bubble's space-time law, Ouyebing's speed was much slower, and the speed at which he condensed divine armament seals was also much slower. After dozens of moves, he was sent flying by Bubble, suffering heavy injuries. Ouyebing was defeated again. He was so angry that he almost vomited blood. Today, he had suffered 2 consecutive defeats at the hands of the Yuan realm's geniuses. The talent of the space-time spirit mouse is indeed amazing. It's only been a few years, and it's already reached this level. That's natural. When the top 10 battle beasts grow up, they'll all be peak powerhouses. How do you think the combat strength of the space-time spirit mouse compared to Tianming? It's hard to say. I feel that the space-time spirit mouse is stronger. Not necessarily. Many people were discussing. While they were shocked, they couldn't help but compare Tianming and Bubble. Both of them had defeated Ouyebing. It could be said that they stood at the peak of the Void Emperor realm. However, it was really hard to compare who was stronger between the two. In terms of laws, the destiny laws were indeed stronger than the space-time laws. However, a law also depended on who was using it. The space-time spirit mouse was born to control the space-time laws. No living creature could compare to the space-time spirit mouse in terms of the application of the space-time laws. Those so-called Elysian children controlled the space-time laws, but in terms of the application of the space-time laws, they were far inferior to the space-time spirit mouse. Therefore, it was hard to say who would win. Many people were curious. Would Bubble challenge the heavenly mandate next? However, everyone was disappointed. Bubble didn't challenge Tianming. She seemed to have had enough. After the bubble went down, no one in the Void Emperor realm went up to challenge it. Many people looked expectant. Next was the main event, the battle between the 9 aces. This time, the reason why so many people had come was to watch the duel between the 9 absolutes. More than 10 years ago, the ranking of the 9 spellcasters had been determined. Over the past 10 years, the 9 spellcasters had rarely fought each other. Everyone wanted to see if there would be any changes in the rankings of the 9 absolutes in the past 10 years. Whoosh! A figure rushed onto the fighting ring. It was the Black Tortoise Forest. As expected, he was the first to make a move. The Black Tortoise Forest is ranked last among the 9 extinctions. I wonder if he can make it this time. It's hard to say. None of the 9 extinctions are weak. We'll only know after we fight. Everyone expressed their opinions. Next, Xian Wulin started his challenge. He challenged the 8th-ranked genius of the 9 extinctions. The two exchanged many moves, but in the end, Xian Wulin was defeated, not a match for the other. Xian Wulin was unwilling to give up. After taking a pill to adjust his condition to the peak, he challenged the 7th-ranked genius. However, he was still defeated. In the end, he had no choice but to give up the challenge. His ranking remained at the 9th place. Next, it was the battle between the 9 absolutes. Fierce battles continued. The 9 absolutes had long entered the true Emperor realm. Their combat strength was so strong that it attracted everyone's attention, especially the geniuses below the Void Emperor realm. They could learn a lot from the battles. Exciting battles took place one after another. However, there were very few changes in the rankings. In the past, the higher-ranked geniuses were indeed stronger. This was the case until now. There was only one change. The 5th-ranked genius defeated the 4th-ranked genius and took his place. The rest of the rankings did not change. Soon, the 3rd-ranked prodigy defeated his opponent. He turned his gaze to Xianyuan Yi and Lin Xiaofeng. In the end, he challenged the 2nd-ranked genius Xianyuan Yi. You overestimate yourself. Xian Yuani stepped out and landed on the fighting ring. I will defeat you within 10 moves. Xian Yuani said indifferently, full of confidence. 10 moves? Xian Yuani, you're too confident. The third-ranked genius. His face was a little ugly. I'm already flattering you by saying 10 moves. Do you understand? Xian Yuani said indifferently. His figure suddenly rushed towards the third-ranked genius. The third-ranked genius was a blue-robed youth. He had fought with the foreign race prince outside the two-world city, and was defeated. At that time, he had the combat strength of an 8th-order true emperor. Now his combat strength was undoubtedly stronger. Boom! The blue-robed youth erupted with all his strength, and attacked with a terrifying divine art. 10th-order true emperor realm combat strength. Someone exclaimed. The blue-robed youth was much stronger than when he fought with the foreign race prince. His combat strength had increased by 2 levels, reaching the 10th-order true emperor realm. It was extremely shocking to have such combat strength at his age. Unfortunately, he had met Xian Yuani. Xian Yuani's world force surged, and the laws of the world filled his body. A halberd appeared in his hand. Boom! The halberd was incomparably huge. It grew to the size of a mountain, and slashed towards the blue-robed youth. The halberd was invincible and powerful to the extreme. When it slashed down, the blue-robed youth's attacks and defenses collapsed completely. Boom! The blue-robed youth frantically retreated. He was blasted tens of thousands of meters away. His face was abnormally pale. A deep wound appeared on his body. It was so deep that his bones could be seen. Blood flowed freely. He was severely injured in one move. I've already shown mercy. Otherwise you would have been dead. I said that I'll defeat you in 10 moves. Otherwise I'll defeat you in 1 move. Xian Yuani said indifferently. The blue-robed youth's face turned ugly. 1 move, it was really just 1 move. Xian Yuani defeated him. The difference in combat strength between the two was too great. The scene was silent. Many people were tongue-tied. This result was far beyond their expectations. The blue-robed youth, ranked 3rd among the 9 absolutes, was defeated in 1 move by Xian Yuani. In everyone's imagination, even if the blue-robed youth was no match for Xian Yuani, the two should be able to exchange blows. However, the result was completely one-sided. A 10th-order true emperor realm combat strength can't even withstand a single blow. How strong is Xian Yuani? He's at least at the 12th-order true emperor realm. Otherwise, he wouldn't be able to defeat him so easily. It's even higher than that. No wonder the Lan family offered 100 chaos stones as a reward. Could it be that Xian Yuani can really defeat Lin Xiaofeng? Chapter 2320. This time, many people had guessed that Xian Yuani must have made great progress and had amazing combat strength. Otherwise, the Lan family would not have offered 100 chaos stones as a reward. But when they saw that the 3rd-ranked genius could not withstand a single blow from Xian Yuani, they were still very shocked. Perhaps Xian Yuani could really fight Lin Xiaofeng. Lan Cheng and some of the older generation experts of the Lan family smiled, especially Lan Cheng, who stroked his beard and smiled confidently. Xian Yuani stood on the fighting ring. He was tall and slender, and was full of confidence. His gaze landed on Lin Xiaofeng, as he spoke in a firm and confident voice. Lin Xiaofeng, come up and fight. Xian Yuani's voice spread throughout the area. As you wish. As soon as Lin Xiaofeng's voice fell, his figure was already on the fighting ring. Lin Xiaofeng, you were lucky to beat me more than 10 years ago. Today, I will trample you under my feet, and let everyone know who the strongest genius is, whether in the heaven realm or the primordial realm. Xian Yuani said proudly and confidently, I'll take the 100 chaos stones. This was Lin Xiaofeng's answer. He was also full of confidence. Everyone's eyes fell on the 2 young figures on the fighting ring. These 2 were the strongest geniuses in the heaven realm and the primordial realm. Their future achievements were limitless and unpredictable. These 2 people had fought a peak battle more than 10 years ago. That battle left a deep impression and was still unforgettable. After more than 10 years, the 2 were going to fight again. This time, who was stronger and who was weaker? Boom! Boom! Xian Yuani and Lin Xiaofeng exploded with powerful auras. Their auras intertwined in the void and produced a violent roar. Explosive divine slash. A sky piercer appeared in Xian Yuanyi's hand. The sky piercer rapidly enlarged and towered into the clouds. There were precepts surrounding it, and its aura was shocking. Then the sky piercer viciously slashed at Lin Xiaofeng. Clang! The sound of the saber resounded throughout the area. Lin Xiaofeng's saber was unsheathed. A ray of saber light rushed up and slashed at his opponent. Boom! The two terrifying attacks collided fiercely, causing the space to shake violently. Even the fighting stage let out a violent rumble. Boundless energy swept out in all directions. Xian Yuanyi and Lin Xiaofeng both shuddered and took a few steps back. However, as soon as they stopped, they both stomped heavily on the fighting ring and rushed towards each other like two rays of light. Boom! The two of them collided in the middle of the fighting ring, as if two stars had collided. Saber radiance and halberd radiance swept out in all directions. Clang! Clang! Following that, the two of them engaged in an intense battle. In the blink of an eye, the two had already exchanged several dozen moves. So strong, comparable to a 13th level true emperor. That's right, a 13th order true emperor at such a young age. Amazing! Many older generation figures sighed. In the past, not to mention reaching the 13th rank, even becoming an emperor at this age was considered not bad. This era was truly a crazy era. The two of them fought fiercely on the fighting stage. As they fought, their auras grew stronger and stronger, and their battle prowess grew stronger and stronger. In the end, their combat strength had surpassed the 13th rank of a true emperor and entered the 14th rank. This made many people gasp. Lin Xiaofeng and Xian Yuanyi's combat strength had reached the 14th rank of a true emperor. The battle became even more intense. The two of them had exchanged more than 200 moves, but there was no clear winner. Lin Xiaofeng, is this the limit of your combat strength? What a disappointment. At this moment, Xian Yuanyi's voice was heard. That's all you've got. It's impossible for you to defeat me, Lin Xiaofeng said. Is that so? Lin Xiaofeng, today is the day I rise. From now on, I will be the strongest in the world. Xian Yuanyi shouted and suddenly let out a long whistle. Boom! The halberd in his hand suddenly surged, and he struck out, colliding with Lin Xiaofeng's battle saber. Amidst the violent explosion, Lin Xiaofeng's battle saber shook violently and finally exploded with a bang. Lin Xiaofeng's figure retreated rapidly until he reached the edge of the fighting ring. His chest heaved up and down as he looked at Xian Yuanyi in shock. 15th rank of a true emperor? You've reached the 15th rank of a true emperor? Lin Xiaofeng said in disbelief. The crowd was in an uproar. Xian Yuanyi's combat strength had reached the 15th rank of a true emperor. This was too terrifying for someone so young to have reached this step. The 15th rank of a true emperor was close to the peak of the true emperor realm. Once one reached the peak of the true emperor realm, they would be able to break through to the emperor realm. Many older generation figures had to spend a lot of time to reach this step. Xian Yuanyi, on the other hand, had reached this step in less than 100 years. It was too shocking. The third-ranked youth in the Blue Mountain was only at the 10th rank of a true emperor. The difference between him and a 15th-ranked true emperor was too great. Terrifying, too terrifying. Is this Xian Yuanyi's true combat strength? No wonder the Lan family is so confident. Who can defeat a 15th-ranked true emperor at such a young age? The Lan family took out 100 chaos stones. It seems generous, but they're confident that Xian Yuanyi will get it. Moreover, they can push Xian Yuanyi to the peak in one fell swoop. This move is brilliant. Many people were discussing and admiring the Lan family's methods. Lan Sheng stroked his beard with a smug smile on his face. After this, the Lan family would have 2 of the 9 absolutes geniuses. Moreover, one of them would be the number 1 genius in the world. The Lan family's prestige would definitely reach the peak. The Lan family would also become stronger and stronger in his hands. Lan Sheng was incomparably happy. It's a pity that Lu Ming is dead. It's a pity that I didn't get the indestructible ancient scripture. Lan Sheng sighed in his heart. Boom! At this time, Xian Yuanyi stepped forward, and a powerful aura pressed down on Lin Xiaofeng. Lin Xiaofeng, I've said it before. This time, I'll trample you under my feet and prove to everyone that I'm the #1 in the world. Xianyuani shouted loudly as the power of the sky piercer in his hand grew stronger. Fight! Lin Xiaofeng shouted. He was unwilling to admit defeat. He became one with his saber and attacked Xianyuani. However, the gap between their combat strength was there, and it was difficult to cross it. The difference between a 14th-ranked true emperor and a 15th-ranked true emperor was real, not a difference in cultivation. The two of them exchanged a few more moves, but Lin Xiaofeng was no match for him. He was sent flying and vomited blood. In the end, he was hit by Xianyuan and was sent flying off the battle stage. Chapter 23-21. Xianyuan stood on the fighting ring, holding the sky piercer in his hand. He looked like an invincible god of war, majestic and imposing. On the other hand, Lin Xiaofeng's face was pale and full of dejection. He had lost. From now on, he was no longer the #1 expert in the world. The #1 genius of the younger generation had changed hands. Ha ha, good. Lan Qing laughed even louder, his smile blossoming like a flower. All of this was as he had expected. There was no change at all. Xianyuan had indeed defeated Lin Xiaofeng and seized the title of the world's #1 genius. His prestige would reach its peak, and so would the prestige of the Lan family. Is there anyone else who wants to fight? If not, this duel is completely over. Lan Qing stood up with a smile on his face, and his voice spread throughout the arena. I'll do it. At that moment, a clear voice was heard. Outside the square, a rainbow light flew in at an extremely fast speed and landed on the fighting ring. It was a young man of 15 or 16 years old. He was elegant and had an extraordinary temperament. However, many people were stunned when they saw the young man's face. Long Chun, Huang Ling, Huang Li Bubbles, and the others were all stunned and dumbfounded. At the same time, Blue Cloud, Heng Xinghe, Yuan Xian, and the others, including Lan Cheng and the others, were also dumbfounded. Even Lu Ming himself almost bit his tongue. His eyes were wide open, because the young man looked too much like Lu Ming. He looked 70 to 80% similar to Lu Ming, but more delicate. No, he's not Lu Ming. He's only 15 or 16 years old. He can't be Lu Ming. Immediately someone said, a person's appearance could be changed at will. However, one's aura or life chi would not change. One could clearly tell a person's age from their life chi. The young man was definitely not old. He should be 15 or 16 years old. Of course, a 15 or 16-year-old could not be Lu Ming. My hair, could this young man be Lu Ming's illegitimate son? Heartless monk chanted the name of Buddha and muttered softly. However, everyone present was an expert, so they naturally heard it clearly. Many people's hearts trembled. Perhaps this was really possible, because the two of them were really too similar. This monk. Lu Ming rubbed his nose speechlessly and looked at the unscrupulous monk with disdain. What a wild imagination, Lu Ming thought. But at that moment, the youth turned to Monk Wuliang and cupped his fists. Master, do you know Lu Ming? Of course, Lu Ming is my brother. We've known each other for decades. Little guy, what's your relationship with Lu Ming? Monk Wuliang said. That's my father. The young man said. Puff. Lu Ming had been drinking a mouthful of wine, but at this moment he spat it out. He stared at the youth dumbfounded. The young man actually said that he was his son? Son. He has a son. Lu Ming was dumbfounded. At the same time his mind raced. Little Qing. Suddenly Lu Ming's heart skipped a beat. He thought of Xian Yinqing. He had only had sex with Xian Yinqing before. Calculating the time, it just so happened to be the same age as the young man. Moreover, Lu Ming sized him up carefully and realized that there were indeed some traces of Xian Yinqing in the young man's eyes. Could it be really my son? Lu Ming had an inexplicable feeling in his heart. This feeling was very strange and indescribable. The others, such as Long Chun, Huang Ling, Bubbles and the others, were also dumbfounded. Brother Lu Ming has a son. Little Lu Ming. He really looks like him. Chirp chirp. Bubbles cried out. Chirp chirp, I was just guessing. I didn't expect that I was right. Monk Wuyang's eyes almost popped out of their sockets. Lu Ming. Huang Ling sighed with mixed feelings. Lu Ming's son, Blue Cloud, Hung Xinghe, Yuan Xian and the others had a cold light in their eyes. As for Heavenly Emperor Hung Yu, and the Primordial Body Cultivator Supreme Elders, they all looked at Lu Ming with strange expressions. Lu Ming resisted the urge to rush out. Now is not the time. Even if the other party was really his and Xian Yinqing's son, it would be the same after they recognized each other. If he went out now and showed his true body, he would probably not have a share of the 100 Chaos Stones. Lan Cheng and the others would definitely not let him challenge Xin Yuanyi. Everyone's thoughts turned in their hearts. Senior, do you know where my father Lu Ming is now? The young man looked at Monk Wuliang and continued to ask. He is in seclusion in a secret place and can't come out for the time being. Monk Wuliang made up nonsense. What seclusion? Let me tell you, Lu Ming is already dead. A cold voice sounded. It was Blue Cloud. The young man was actually Lu Ming's son. He was unhappy just looking at him. What did you say? You're talking nonsense. My mother said that my father is unparalleled and invincible in the younger generation. How can he be dead? The young man glared at Blue Cloud. What unparalleled my ass, you're really deceiving yourself. Blue Cloud despised. In my opinion, you must have been defeated by my father before, and even abused very badly. Otherwise, you wouldn't deliberately belittle him like this. A light flashed in the young man's eyes as he said coldly. You, Blue Cloud's face flushed red. The young man's words just happened to poke his sore spot. He was abused by Lu Ming more than once. Each time, it was very miserable, causing him to lose face. Ha ha ha, little Lu Ming, you're right. He was abused very badly by Lu Ming. He was simply kneeling on the ground and begging for mercy, crying for his father and mother. He even betrayed his ancestors. Monk Wuliang added fuel to the fire and directly implicated the Lan family. This made Lan Cheng's expression ugly. He wished he could slap Monk Wuliang to death. On the other hand, Blue Cloud's face alternated between green and green. All right, young man, you want to challenge? Who do you want to challenge? Lan Cheng quickly changed the topic. The young man's gaze swept across the crowd and finally landed on Xian Wulin. I want to challenge him. The young man pointed at Xian Wulin. What? Everyone was shocked. The young man actually wanted to challenge Xian Wulin? The young man was only 15 or 16 years old. How strong could his cultivation be? It was already rare to be able to become an emperor at this age. But he actually wanted to challenge Xian Wulin. No matter what, Xian Wulin was still one of the 9 absolutes. His cultivation had already broken through to the true emperor realm. Now he even had the combat strength of a 6th-order true emperor. How could he challenge the 9 absolutes at such a young age? Xian Wulin's face darkened. It was embarrassing for him to be challenged by a 15-year-old young man. At such a young age, you're overestimating yourself. You actually want to challenge the 9 absolutes. You don't have the slightest bit of self-awareness. You're no different from your father. Blue Cloud was very unhappy and seized the opportunity to mock and ridicule. Oh, since that's the case, I'll challenge you first. Come down and fight. The young man looked at Blue Cloud. You want to challenge me? Blue Cloud's expression changed slightly. Nonsense, you come down and fight. Don't tell me you don't even dare to accept my challenge? Chapter 23-22. The young man used provocation to challenge Blue Cloud. However, Blue Cloud had no choice but to accept it even though he knew it was a provocation. The other party was only a 15 or 16-year-old youth. If he didn't even dare to accept this challenge, then he wouldn't be able to show his face in the future. He would be laughed at by others. Since you want to fight, I'll grant you your wish. Blue Cloud said coldly as he stepped out and landed on the battle platform. Lu Ming's palm couldn't help but tighten. He was a little worried for the young man. He was ready to take out the fallen star bow at any time. If the young man was in danger, he would help. Bubbles and the others were also staring at the arena, especially Bubbles. He wouldn't let anything happen to the young man. You're so arrogant at such a young age. I'd like to see what you're capable of. Blue Cloud said coldly. The young man was only 15 or 16 years old. He didn't believe that the young man could be a match for him. He was also a top prodigy, who had cultivated hard for decades to achieve such an achievement. He had never heard of anyone who could achieve as much as him at the age of 15 or 16. There had never been anyone since ancient times. Make your move. Once you make your move, you'll naturally see what I'm capable of. The young man said indifferently. His expression was calm and indifferent, as if he didn't take Blue Cloud seriously at all. Blue Cloud was getting angrier and angrier. Since you're courting death, I'll grant you your wish. Kill. Blue Cloud roared angrily as light erupted from his body. Then, endless light converged into a giant lion that pounced towards the young man. The giant lion was as big as a mountain and had a terrifying aura. Blue Cloud used his ultimate move right away. If the young man was hit, he would definitely die. Since the young man said that he was Lu Ming's son, then he would send him on his way. A sinister look flashed in Blue Cloud's eyes. Seeing that the giant lion was about to pounce on the young man made his move. A layer of dark light emanated from his body. Then, a black sword light burst out and slashed towards the giant lion. Puffed! The giant lion that Blue Cloud transformed from his ability was like a piece of tofu. It couldn't withstand a single blow, and was directly defeated by the young man's dark light. Moreover, the black light did not stop there, and continued to attack Blue Cloud. The speed of the black light was so fast that Blue Cloud couldn't dodge it. How is this possible? Blue Cloud roared in anger. Both of his fists continued to bombard the giant lions. However, they were all swept away by the black light and disintegrated. Whoosh! The black light hit Blue Cloud, and Blue Cloud let out a blood-curdling scream. He tried to retreat, but it was useless. His body was directly cut in two by the black light. He fell to the ground, howling in pain. Hiss, hiss, hiss. Many people sucked in a breath of cold air and looked at the young man in shock. One move. With just one move, the young man had cut Blue Cloud into two halves. This was too shocking. One should know that Blue Cloud was a top-notch genius who had mastered an ultimate law. His current cultivation had even reached the level of a 5-star illusionary emperor. Even with such a high level of cultivation, he couldn't even withstand a single move from the youth. This was too shocking. Some of the older generation figures saw even more. What kind of power is that? It's so terrifying. This young man's cultivation is at the level of a 3-star illusionary emperor. But the power he cultivates is terrifyingly strong. That's right. It's a bit like the power of the immemorial cultivation system, but it's more condensed, sharper, and more terrifying. Some of the older generation figures discussed animatedly. It was already extremely shocking for a young man to reach the level of a 3-star illusionary emperor at such a young age. However, the power that the young man cultivated was even stranger. When the young man attacked, there wasn't any fluctuation of law. Obviously, the young man didn't cultivate the law system. However, it wasn't the immemorial cultivation system either. This was because the young man's power was even more terrifying than the power cultivated by the immemorial cultivation system. Some of the older generation figures discussed in shock. Nest, you're amazing. You're really amazing. You're worthy of being Lu Ming's son. He defeated Blue Cloud in one move. He's really amazing. Monk Wuliang, Long Chun, and the others were also discussing in shock. This power. Only Lu Ming's eyes narrowed. This was because he had seen this kind of power once. Back then, after he had sex with Xian Yanqing, the next day, Xian Yanqing seemed to have changed into a different person and attacked him. The power that Xian Yanqing used was this kind of power. It was invincible, and its attack power was so strong that it could even penetrate the laws. He's really my son. At this moment, Lu Ming came to a conclusion and felt an inexplicable excitement in his heart. No one would be able to remain calm if they suddenly had a son. Lu Ming couldn't wait to rush out immediately and reunite with the young man. Then, he would ask about Xian Yanqing's whereabouts. If the young man was here, then Xian Yanqing must also be in the Taiqing sky domain. He had to get to the bottom of this matter. However, he wasn't in a hurry for the time being. It wouldn't be too late to wait until the Lan family's matter was resolved. At this moment, the experts of the Lan family had already rescued Blue Cloud. With Blue Cloud's cultivation, being cut in half was a small matter and could be easily healed. The biggest blow to him was that he was defeated by the young man in one move. Impossible, impossible. Blue Cloud kept yelling in his heart. He couldn't accept it. He had been defeated by a 15 or 16-year-old boy in one move. This was a great humiliation. You can't even withstand a single blow. The young man shook his head and looked at Xian Wulin. Now we can fight, the young man said. Xian Wulin narrowed his eyes and stepped onto the fighting ring. Buzz! Stars appeared around Xian Wulin. There were a total of 360 stars that covered his entire body. Xian Wulin didn't dare to be careless in front of the young man. Clang! A sword chime sounded, and a pitch-black battle sword appeared in the young man's hand. Remember, the one who defeated you is Lu Shenhuang. The young man's voice sounded and the sword light whizzed out, piercing the void and slashing toward Xian Wulin at an extremely fast speed. Lu Shenhuang. Lu Ming's heart skipped a beat. Was this the name that Xian Yinqing had given the young man? Lu Shenhuang meant the Divine Wilderness continent, and also the place where Lu Ming and Xian Yinqing met and fell in love. They had experienced unforgettable times in the Divine Wilderness continent. Heavenly Cycle Stellar Fist. Xian Wulin roared as he waved his hands, and stars flew toward Lu Shenhuang. Whoosh! 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 Lu Shenhuang's battle sword shook and sword chi whizzed out. Streaks of black sword light slashed at the stars. Pung! Pung! The stars exploded like fireworks. Xian Wulin's expression changed and he used all his strength. More stars flew toward Xian Wulin. Each star contained his power of law, but Lu Shenhuang's sword light was shockingly powerful. It could easily tear apart his power of law. The two quickly attacked, and the sky was filled with sword light and starlight. In the blink of an eye, the two had exchanged dozens of blows. What terrifying strength! A genius, a genius! Some of the older generation exclaimed at Lu Shenhuang's battle strength. His cultivation was only that of a 3-star Void Emperor. However, he was able to fight against Xian Wulin. His fighting strength was not only shocking, it was unimaginable. Chapter 23-23. My hair, my nest, this is too perverted. Too heaven-defying. Unscrupulous monks started to spout nonsense. As expected of Lu Ming's son, he's even stronger than Lu Ming. Long Chen sighed. If that was the case, then Lu Shenhuang was stronger than Lu Ming back in the day. When Lu Ming broke through to the Martial Emperor realm, he became a 4-star Void Emperor and fought against Xian Wulin. In the end, he managed to defeat Xian Wulin by combining 9 types of laws. However, Xian Wulin wasn't as strong as he was now. At that time, Xian Wulin was only a 3rd-order true emperor. It was obvious that Lu Shenhuang was stronger than Lu Ming back in the day. Of course, now that Lu Ming's mastery of various laws had deepened, and he had cultivated the primordial body cultivation, his physical strength had skyrocketed. Now Lu Ming's ability to fight beyond his level was much stronger than before. Great! Lu Ming was overjoyed to see Lu Shenhuang's strength. Damn it, how could this be? Some were happy while others were worried. Heng Xinghe, Yuan Xian, Lan Cheng and the others roared in disbelief. Lu Ming was already abnormal enough, but his son was even more abnormal. How could this be? They roared in their hearts and went crazy with jealousy. Pung! 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 Lu Shenhuang and Xian Wulin fought fiercely, causing explosions to ring out. However, the more they fought, the stronger Lu Shenhuang became. His entire body was covered with a layer of black light that merged with his battle sword. The sword light was extremely sharp, and it constantly destroyed Xian Wulin's stars. In the end, the sword light destroyed the stars even faster. Before Xian Wulin could condense his stars, Lu Shenhuang had already arrived in front of him and slashed out with his sword. Xian Wulin screamed as he coughed out blood and retreated from the battle stage. There was a deep wound on his body that was bleeding profusely. Xian Wulin had lost. He had been defeated by Lu Shenhuang. From now on, the position of 9 absolutes would be replaced by Lu Shenhuang. Xian Wulin's expression was extremely ugly. This was a huge blow to him. Lan Cheng's expression was ugly as he said coldly, Lu Shenhuang, do you still want to continue? No. Lu Shenhuang shook his head and rushed down the stage. He landed on a seat and closed his eyes to meditate. Is there anyone else who wants to challenge me? If not, then the first place today belongs to Xianyuan Yi. Lan Qing stood up and announced, his voice spreading throughout the audience. Let me. As soon as Lan Qing's voice fell, he was interrupted. At this moment, Lu Ming stood up and took a step forward, landing on the battle stage. Many people's eyes fell on Lu Ming, but when they saw Lu Ming's appearance, they were slightly stunned. This was because they had never seen Lu Ming's appearance before. Another genius that had never appeared before? Some Heavenly Emperor characters revealed looks of surprise. With Heavenly Emperor realm cultivation, they could sense that Lu Ming should have changed his appearance. But they could not see through Lu Ming's original appearance. What a brilliant disguise technique. Some Heavenly Emperor characters whispered. You want to challenge? Who do you want to challenge? Lan Qing asked. If I want to challenge, of course I want to challenge the first place. Xianyuan Yi, come down and fight. Lu Ming's gaze looked at Xianyuan Yi. What? Many people were shocked. Someone actually wanted to challenge Xianyuan Yi. Xianyuan Yi's combat strength was obvious to all. He had reached the 15th level of a true emperor. This kind of combat strength, without a doubt, was unparalleled among the younger generation. But now someone wanted to challenge Xianyuan Yi. This was crazy. Many people originally thought that Lu Ming's challenge was nothing more than the same as Lu Xinhuang's, casually challenging a few experts to hone himself or gain fame. But now, Lu Ming wanted to challenge Xianyuan Yi, which was greatly beyond everyone's expectations. This kid must be playing to the gallery. He wants to challenge Xianyuan Yi to increase his fame. Even if he loses miserably, his fame will rise. Yes, it must be so. Some people discussed. Xianyuan Yi's eyes narrowed slightly as he rushed to the battle stage. Kid, swords have no eyes. If you challenge me, and I make a mistake and cripple or kill you, you only have yourself to blame. Xianyuan Yi said coldly. He was not in a good mood. He had already defeated Lin Xiaofeng and ascended to the first place. Everything was perfect. But now someone wanted to challenge him. Everything seemed to be flawed and not very perfect. Therefore, he wanted to kill Lu Ming. Later, he would kill him in one move to make an example and let everyone know the consequences of challenging him. Kid, what's your name? At this time, Lan Qing asked. I'm just a nobody. Let's not talk about it. Lu Ming smiled faintly. A nobody dares to challenge Brother Xianyuan. He's overestimating himself. In my opinion, this person is playing to the gallery. Brother Xianyuan doesn't need to accept the challenge at all. Just ask someone to throw him out. A voice sounded. It was Xian Wulin who spoke. Xian Wulin had just been defeated by Lu Xinhuang in public, so he was in a bad mood and would bite anyone he could find. At this time, Lu Ming rushed out. He was very unhappy with Lu Ming and directly mocked him. You can't even be compared to a 15-year-old boy. How dare you yell here? If I were you, I would just destroy my own cultivation. Lu Ming looked at Xian Wulin and sneered. You kid, Brother Xianyuan doesn't need to do anything today. I'll teach you a lesson. Xian Wulin was furious. He rushed to the battle stage and cupped his fist at Xianyuan Yi. Brother Xianyuan, you don't need to deal with a nobody. I'll teach him a lesson for you. Okay. Xianyuan Yi nodded and moved to the side of the battle stage. In his opinion, it was best that Xian Wulin did it, so that he would not have to do anything. You want to fight? Lu Ming looked at Xian Wulin and said, That's right. I'd like to see what makes you dare to challenge Brother Xianyuan. Xian Wulin said coldly, You can't. You're too weak. I don't want to torture you. Unexpectedly, Lu Ming shook his head with a look of contempt. Xian Wulin's lungs were about to explode. Who was he? He was one of the 9 absolutes. But today, he had been defeated by Lu Xinhuang, and now, even a nameless person was looking down on him. He was furious, and his killing intent soared. Kid who doesn't know how to talk nonsense. Show me what you're capable of. Xian Wulin roared. Hundreds of stars appeared all over his body, and hundreds of stars gathered together and blasted towards Lu Ming with extraordinary power. As soon as he attacked, Xian Wulin used his killing move to blast Lu Ming into ashes. Boom! The huge star fell like a meteor, dragging a long tail. Its power was terrifying. But then Lu Ming moved. There was no energy fluctuation on his body, nor was there any fluctuation of laws. It was just a simple punch. Chapter 23-24. Boom! The punch landed on the huge star. The huge star was like a bubble. It could not withstand a single blow, and was burst by Lu Ming's punch. After destroying the star, Lu Ming's fist didn't stop, and continued to attack Xian Wulin. Wherever the fist passed, the space would explode, forming a terrifying spatial storm that swept towards Xian Wulin. Xian Wulin was completely enveloped by Lu Ming's fist. It was as if the space around him had solidified, making it difficult for him to move. How is this possible? This thought surfaced in Xian Wulin's heart. Thereafter, Lu Ming's fist landed heavily on his face. Bang! Xian Wulin was sent flying out of the battle stage and crashed heavily on the ground. He lay there, vomiting blood. His face was completely deformed and swollen beyond recognition. Everyone was stunned and looked at Lu Ming in a daze. One punch, just one punch, defeated Xian Wulin. They weren't on the same level at all. It was a complete one-sided defeat. One had to know that Xian Wulin's combat strength was at the 6th order True Emperor realm. But he was defeated. Who was this person? They had never seen him before. How could he be so strong? Physical strength, he's an Archean physique cultivator. Suddenly someone exclaimed. Everyone's heart skipped a beat. Just now Lu Ming's body didn't have any fluctuations of laws. He relied purely on his physical strength. Only an Archean physique cultivator could cultivate his physical strength to such a level. Bao's eyes lit up. He was also an Archean physique cultivator. He was naturally curious and excited to see another Archean physique cultivator with such shocking combat strength. I told you that you're too weak. I didn't want to torture you, but you just had to ask for it. Lu Ming said indifferently, and looked at Xian Wulin with disdain. Xian Wulin vomited a few more mouthfuls of blood. Today, he was defeated by two people. One was a 15-year-old boy, and the other easily defeated him with one punch. Today, he was destined to become a laughingstock and be ridiculed by others. Is there anyone else who wants to stand up for Xian Yuanyi? Lu Ming's gaze swept across the young geniuses present. No one spoke. Lu Ming was able to defeat Xian Wulin with one punch. His combat strength was unfathomable. If others were not confident, who would stand up for Xian Yuanyi? In that case, Xian Yuanyi, let's fight. Lu Ming looked at Xian Yuanyi. You have some skills, but you are still far from being able to fight me. Xian Yuanyi stepped out and sneered. In his opinion, defeating Xian Wulin with a single punch was nothing. Black Wulin only had the strength of a 6th order True Emperor. Anyone above the 8th order True Emperor realm could defeat him in one move. On the other hand, he was a 15th level True Emperor, much stronger than Xian Wulin. Therefore, even though Lu Ming had defeated Xian Wulin in one move, he did not think much of Lu Ming. You talk too much. Make your move. Lu Ming said. I've already said that swords and sabers have no eyes. If I accidentally hit you too hard, you'll only have yourself to blame. Xian Yuanyi said coldly as a halberd appeared in his hand. Dong! Xian Yuanyi suddenly took a step forward and slashed the Fengtian halberd toward Lu Ming. In the process of slashing, the halberd rapidly grew to a length of 1,000 meters and slashed at Lu Ming. Lu Ming took a step forward, and the fighting ring rumbled. His body suddenly dashed out and he threw out a punch. Lu Ming circulated his physical strength to the maximum for this punch. Boom! Lu Ming's fist and the halberd collided. There was a terrifying roar, and Lu Ming's body retreated madly. He only stopped after retreating a few hundred meters. This person actually blocked Xian Yuanyi's attack. Many people were shocked. Although Lu Ming was at a disadvantage and was pushed back, they were still shocked. Who is this person? He has the strength of a 13th order True Emperor. There is such a genius among the younger generation in the heaven domain. A 13th order True Emperor was also impressive. Among the 9 peerless youths, only Lin Xiaofeng and Xin Yuan, he had the strength of a 13th order True Emperor. The third person was only a 10th order True Emperor. This was almost the pinnacle of the younger generation in the heaven domain. There was such a genius among the Archean physique cultivators. Xianyuan Yi's eyes narrowed slightly as a ray of sharpness flashed in them. He was also very surprised that he did not defeat Lu Ming in one move. Let's see how many moves you can take. Die! Xianyuan roared, and charged at Lu Ming with the halberd in his hand. My physical strength is still a little lacking, Lu Ming whispered. Now that he had cultivated the seven gods' mysterious art to the middle of the 4th level, his physical strength was equivalent to a 13th order true emperor. He was still not a match for Xianyuan Yi. Boom! Lu Ming punched again. But this time, Lu Ming used the indestructible golden body from the indestructible ancient scripture. The indestructible golden body could turn one's body into a divine weapon. Not only did it have a terrifying defensive power, but it also had a powerful offensive power. The indestructible golden body complemented the powerful physical body of an Archean physique cultivator. The two complemented each other, and the power that erupted was extremely shocking. The law, it's the power of the law. He's cultivating the law system. No, his physical body is too amazing. He's obviously an Archean physique cultivator. He's cultivating both the physical body and the law at the same time. Someone exclaimed, feeling incredulous. It would take many people a lifetime to cultivate one of them. However, Lu Ming had cultivated 2 of them, and seemed to have achieved amazing results in both of them. Boom! At this time, Lu Ming and Xianyuan collided for the 2nd time. Another violent roar sounded. This time, Lu Ming and Xianyuan Yi's bodies shook violently and they retreated. Hiss, gasps could be heard, and many people couldn't help but widen their eyes. They were evenly matched. In this move, Lu Ming and Xianyuan Yi were evenly matched. There was actually someone in the world who could fight with Xianyuan Yi. They had already felt that Xianyuan Yi had just unleashed the combat strength of a 15th level true emperor. Even Lin Xiaofeng couldn't contend with such combat strength. However, Lu Ming was able to contend with it, and they were evenly matched. This meant that Lu Ming's combat strength was also at 15th level true emperor. There was actually a genius in the world who had reached such a level. It was simply amazing. Damn it! Lan Chung roared in his heart, and was a little worried. He was worried that if Xianyuan Yi was defeated, his plan today would be ruined, and the 100 Chaos Stones would be given to someone else. I must win! Lan Chung gritted his teeth and whispered. Xianyuan Yi's eyes were also filled with shock. He also didn't expect that there would be another youth in the world who could reach such a level. I'm invincible. This person must die. Xianyuan Yi roared in his heart, and his eyes were filled with cold, killing intent. There was actually a genius in the world who could fight with him. He absolutely couldn't allow such a person to appear. Kill! Chapter 23-25. Xianyuan Yi crossed the void, and the halberd seemed to be able to split the sky as it slashed towards Lu Ming. Wherever it passed, the void was directly split in half, revealing a terrifying dark crack. This kind of attack power could be said to be invincible among the younger generation. No one could stop it. Even Lin Xiaofeng would be defeated by this move. But Lu Ming's face was calm. To be honest, such an attack did not bother him at all. Boom! The muscles and bones of Lu Ming's body vibrated violently, reaching hundreds of millions of times per second. The vibration of his muscles at such an amplitude caused intense friction with the air and space. Lu Ming's body directly rushed out and blasted out a punch. The fist once again collided with the halberd. In the violent roar, the halberd exploded, and Lu Ming's body swayed slightly, but Lu Ming's other fist also blasted out. This punch directly pierced through the space, causing a spatial storm to sweep towards Xianyuan Yi. Lu Ming did not use the power of the world or other magical techniques. He only relied on the strength of his physical body and the immortal golden body. Xianyuan Yi's face changed wildly. His body glowed, and a halberd condensed in his other hand. He slashed out with the halberd and blocked Lu Ming's fist force, but his body was forced to retreat again and again. Xianyuan Yi fell into a disadvantageous position, and his offensive was suppressed by Lu Ming. Lu Ming's muscles and bones vibrated. He did not need to step at all, and his body naturally rushed toward Xianyuan Yi. Boom! 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 Lu Ming kept punching, and the terrifying power smashed the space. Moreover, Lu Ming did not care about defense at all. He only wanted to attack with all his strength. Xianyuan roared, holding a halberd in each hand, madly slashing it, and engaged in a fierce confrontation with Lu Ming. After a few moves, Xianyuan Yi's halberd landed on Lu Ming's shoulder. However, Lu Ming's muscles and bones vibrated rapidly, rebounding most of the power. At the same time, the invincible golden body's defense had also blocked the majority of the power. The other side's halberd could only leave a shallow white mark on Lu Ming's skin. It couldn't even break through Lu Ming's defense. At the same time, Lu Ming punched Xianyuan Yi. Xianyuan Yi's body shook violently, and the sound of bones breaking could be heard from his body. He retreated wildly and spat out large mouthfuls of blood. Many people sucked in a breath of cold air, their hearts trembling. Lu Ming's defensive power was also too astonishing. Xianyuan Yi was not a match at all. The two people's battle prowess was equal. Each person struck the other with a move, but Lu Ming was completely unscathed, while Xianyuan Yi was severely injured. Number one in the world? Is that all you have? Lu Ming said coldly. In the next moment, his figure suddenly rushed towards Xianyuan Yi and launched a new round of fierce attacks. Damn it! Outside the battle platform, Lan Cheng roared in his heart. His eyes were full of anger and cold light. Xianyuan Yi could not be defeated. Once Xianyuan Yi was defeated, his plan would be ruined. Moreover, he still had to take out 100 pieces to give to Lu Ming. He would never allow that. A cold light flashed in his eyes. He took a slight step, and a force rushed towards Lu Ming along the ground. On the side, the heavenly emperors of the other major forces noticed this. Their eyes moved slightly, but no one spoke. Seeing that the force was about to hit Lu Ming silently, at this time, Heavenly Emperor Hung Yu snorted coldly. He also took a slight step, and a force gushed out from the ground, intercepting Lan Cheng's force. Boom! The two forces collided. The ground suddenly exploded, and a large pit appeared. The force was rampant. What's going on? Many people were shocked. Lan Cheng, as a heavenly emperor, you actually secretly attacked a junior. You are really shameless. Or, you see that Xianyuan Yi is about to lose and can't bear to part with the 100 pieces of chaos stones? Since you can't bear to part with it, don't say it first. Heavenly Emperor Hung Yu said coldly. Many people's gazes swept towards Lan Cheng. Seeing Lan Cheng's gloomy face, they came to a realization. It seemed that Lan Cheng saw that Xianyuan Yi was about to lose and secretly attacked, but was intercepted by Heavenly Emperor Hung Yu. Damn it! Lan Cheng roared in his heart, but he could not flare up. He could only keep a sullen face and not speak. While at this time, the battle situation on the battle stage was already completely one-sided. Lu Ming launched a torrential attack, completely ignoring defense, only attacking. Xianyuan Yi was not a match at all. Even if he resisted with all his might, he could not block more than a few moves too. Bang! Lu Ming's punch hit Xianyuan Yi's chest, almost piercing through his chest. Xianyuan Yi vomited large mouthfuls of blood, his body retreating wildly. Lu Ming pursued and blasted out another punch. Xianyuan Yi's body was sent flying out like a cannonball. Half of his body exploded. His body flew out of the battle stage, flying towards the crowd. Lan Cheng's face was gloomy. With a wave of his hand, a force wrapped around Lan Cheng, catching him. At the same time, it helped Lan Cheng recover from his injuries. Defeated. Xianyuan Yi was defeated. Lu Ming defeated Xianyuan Yi with absolute superiority. Everyone's hearts were complicated. They knew that an even more terrifying Heaven's Chosen was born. The pitiful Xianyuan Yi had just defeated Lin Xiaofeng, and just ascended to the throne of the 9 Absolutes #1. His butt had not even warmed up the seat yet, and he was kicked off the throne by someone. Is there anyone else who wants to come up and challenge me? Lu Ming did not look at Xianyuan Yi anymore. His gaze turned to other directions. No one responded. Lu Ming's combat strength was so horrifying. Even Xianyuan Yi could not withstand a single blow. Who could still be his match? Since no one answers the challenge, then I'll be #1 this time. Lu Ming opened his mouth, his gaze turning to Lan Cheng, and he said, Family head Lan, since I got number 1, then those 100 chaos gems are mine. Lan Cheng's heart ached. 100 chaos gems was not a small number. Even if the Lan family was large, it would not be easy to take out 100 chaos gems. Originally, he thought that Xian Yuanyi would definitely get first place. Giving 100 chaos gems to Lan Cheng's son-in-law to help the Lan family's son-in-law advance to the next level was naturally not a loss. However, he could not bear to give 100 chaos gems to someone else. Kid, who exactly are you? I know you used a disguise technique to hide your head and tail. You didn't even tell me your name. Yet you still want to get 100 chaos gems. What a joke. Lan Cheng sneered. He began to find excuses. Ha ha ha, Lan Cheng. Are you trying to cheat? That's not what you said before. You released the news that as long as it's the younger generation, whoever gets first place will get 100 chaos gems. Now you're looking for so many excuses. I know you must have thought that Xian Yuanyi would definitely get first place at first, so you took out 100 chaos gems to prepare for him. However, you used 100 chaos gems as a gimmick to attract others to set off Xian Yuanyi. You're treating everyone in the world like monkeys. Lu Ming mocked. Nonsense, how dare you slander me? Show your true form. I want to confirm your identity. Otherwise, don't even think about getting 100 chaos gems. Lan Cheng said. Alright, since you want to see, then let's see. Lu Ming said. After saying that, his appearance changed rapidly and returned to his original appearance. His aura also recovered. Lu Ming. Chapter 23-26. At the sight of Lu Ming's appearance, Lan Cheng could not help but widen his eyes and yell. The others were also dumbfounded. How is this possible? Isn't Lu Ming dead? Blue Cloud, Hung Xinghe, Yuan Xian, and the others roared in disbelief. Huang Ling, Long Chun, Bubbles, and the others were overjoyed. I was wondering who could have such powerful combat strength. It turns out to be Lu Ming. It's amazing. Lu Ming has only been an emperor for a few years, but he can suppress Xian Yuanyi. He's invincible in his generation. It's incredible. He just used his physical strength and didn't use the power of laws. Indeed. Hiss. All around, there was a hubbub of noise as the sounds of discussion converged into one. Lu Ming was too famous. He had become an emperor with many different laws, which was unprecedented. As soon as he became an emperor, he defeated Qian Wulin, one of the 9 absolutes, which shocked the entire heaven field. A few years later, he defeated and captured the prince of a foreign tribe outside the Two-World City. That battle had pushed Lu Ming's reputation to the peak. But it was far from comparable to today's battle. In today's battle, Lu Ming defeated Xian Yuanyi and became the strongest of the younger generation in the Tian Yuan world. It seemed that every time Lu Ming appeared, his combat strength would increase by leaps and bounds. The speed of his improvement was shocking. Fa. Father. At this moment, Lu Shenhuang stood up and stared at Lu Ming without blinking. There was astonishment, surprise, anticipation, curiosity, and other emotions on his face. Lu Ming also heard Lu Shenhuang's voice. He turned around and looked at Lu Shenhuang. Their eyes met. Lu Ming nodded slightly and smiled. Lu Shenhuang took a deep breath and suppressed his excitement. He stepped forward and came to the fighting ring to face Lu Ming. His mother's comment about his father rang in his mind, unparalleled in the world. Today he saw that it was true. Father. Lu Shenhuang spoke again. Your mother is Xian Yanqing? Lu Ming could not help but ask. Although he already knew that Lu Shenhuang's mother was definitely Xian Yanqing, he still couldn't help but ask to confirm it. Yes. Lu Shenhuang nodded firmly. A smile appeared on Lu Ming's face. Looking at Lu Shenhuang, who was 70 to 80% similar to himself, there was an indescribable feeling in his heart. She didn't expect that after parting with Xian Yanqing for more than 10 years, they already had a son, and he was already so old. Divine Wasteland, step aside first. After I settle the matters here, I'll go with you to find your mother. Lu Ming said. All right. Lu Shenhuang nodded and retreated to his seat. Lu Ming turned around and faced Lan Cheng. At this moment, Lan Cheng's face was contorted with a ferocious expression, and a murderous intent emerged in his eyes. Lu Ming, you still dare to appear here? Good, very good, Lan Qing said coldly. Why can't I appear here? Lu Ming sneered and asked. A few years ago, on the battlefield outside Two World City, you killed the beings of the Heaven region and stole their treasures and resources. This is a serious crime, and you must pay with your life. Lan Qing said coldly. Ha ha ha, a thief crying thief. Since that's the case, I'll explain everything today. Lu Ming laughed heartily. He then recounted how the Lan family and the Yin family had besieged him, and how the Lan family and the Yin family had killed Bai Tai, and the rest to silence him when Bai Tai and the rest arrived. How could such a thing happen? Many people's eyes flickered as they pondered. Back then, the Lan family had announced that Lu Ming had killed them and stolen their treasures, and the Lan family and Yin family had encountered him. According to the rules of Two World City, they had attacked Lu Ming. Could there be such a secret? Nonsense! Lan Qing scolded. Nonsense! I suspect that the people of the Lan family were instructed by your Lan city to steal my indestructible ancient scripture. But in the end, they were discovered and killed to silence me. Then, they framed me for the crime. Such behavior is not worthy of being called a great family of the heavenly world. In my opinion, the one who should be punished is you, your Lan family. Lu Ming shouted. Presumptuous! How dare you slander me? Today, no matter how glib your tongue is, you will be punished. Men take Lu Ming down, cripple his cultivation, and throw him into prison. Lan Qing shouted. Bang! Bang! Immediately, two experts from the Lan family stepped out. They exuded a powerful aura and dashed toward Lu Ming. These two great emperors were extremely powerful. Let's see who dares. Heavenly Emperor Hung Yu shouted coldly, and a terrifying aura erupted from his body. With a wave of his hand, a giant hand formed and pressed towards the two great emperors. Hung Yu, I'm afraid it's not up to you to protect Lu Ming. Lan Qing roared and rushed out. His Heavenly Emperor cultivation also erupted. With a press of his hand, a heavenly lion roared and pounced towards Heavenly Emperor Hung Yu's giant hand. Boom! With a shocking explosion, Lan Qing's face changed drastically. His body was directly sent flying as he looked at Heavenly Emperor Hung Yu in shock. He was no match for Heavenly Emperor Hung Yu at all. At the same time, the two great emperors from the Lan family were also sent flying by Heavenly Emperor Hung Yu's remaining force. Hung Yu, you want to violate the rules of the Heaven region by yourself? You want to go against everyone? Lu Ming has committed a crime, and he must be punished. Lan Qing shouted. The one who is guilty is your Lan family. The one who went against everyone in the Heaven region is your Lan family. Lu Ming shouted. A bunch of nonsense. Lan Qing said. Hee hee, if what I said is a bunch of nonsense, then isn't what you said a bunch of farts? Lu Ming scolded coldly. How dare you? Lan Qing roared. Lu Ming, a junior, actually dared to go against him and contradict him. It was simply impudent. The anger in his heart soared to the sky, and he wished he could slap Lu Ming to death. Fellow Taoists, lend me a hand. Lan Qing's gaze looked at the Yin family's Heavenly Emperor, Luo family's Heavenly Emperor, Vast Expanse Hall Master, and the rest. These forces were on good terms with the Lan family. They even had marriage relations with the Lan family. Lu Ming killed his fellow Heavenly Realm cultivators and stole their treasures. In my opinion, he was able to rise so quickly by relying on such methods. It's simply a heinous crime, and he deserves to be punished. The Yin family's Heavenly Emperor stepped out and walked side by side with Lan Qing. A powerful aura erupted as they resisted Heavenly Emperor Hung Yu together. That's right. Today Lu Ming must be taken down, cripple his cultivation, and interrogate him strictly. The Luo family's Heavenly Emperor also stepped out. Following that, two more people stepped out. They were both Heavenly Emperors. One was the Vast Hall's Hall Master, and the other was Xing He's Master, a terrifying Heavenly Emperor powerhouse. 5 Heavenly Emperor powerhouses stood together, and their aura was shocking. Hung Yu, I've said it before. Today you alone can't stop us. Lu Ming must be taken down. Lan Qing sneered. Then he stared at Lu Ming. With a stretch of his hand, A terrifying force condensed into a giant hand and grabbed at Lu Ming. You dare? You're tuning in to the Li Mei's Wuxia Whispers YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support. And don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.